Hello and welcome to Upwell and Onwards. Here we are with another video for a loco. And as you see, the packet from the last video is in there, right in front of a Great Western pannier tank. Great loco. I'll probably do that in another video, but for this one of Churchward's finest, a mogul. Now, originally they were a sort of they had sort of mixed reputations with crews, because in the words of one of the former Great Western employees, they were like a sports car. They were great for short bursts. As you can see with Bachmann's usual deal. Whoops, everything just dropped out there. The usual old style pamphlet showing the drawing of the loco as well as its brief history. Feel free to pause and read it. Now then, inside we have the, whoops, I'm really getting into a habit of knocking the camera. It's really annoying. Collector's Club. Yep, the guarantee slip, which is a bit worse for wear. Whoops. And what I really like most, the blown up diagram. Quite a lot for just a mogul. Now then, let's get this loco out of the packaging and get it on the track. Now, if you remember from my old video about the Hornby Peckett as well as the collet goods, you will recognize this tender. I got it out when I did the collet goods video. Now we can get a better look at it. Sadly the coal is not removable, but you could probably go over it with some coal dust or something to make it look better. Nicely fit handles, linkage. Underneath, you don't get much detail, just the brake rigging and, well, the water scoop. Sadly, no NEM coupler. As you can see, it's a screw type. But it rolls very nicely. Now then, as for the loco, here it is. Once again, not NEM coupler, screw type, as you can see. Sprung buffers though, and vacuum pipe added. Classic Great Western look with the brass safety valves and dome. And nicely done whistle too. And classic early Churchward look, compared to the collet ones, you can tell, is the cab. There's no side windows, it's just a simple classic Churchward style cab. Sadly, no glazing, as this is an early Bachmann, but still very nice. I took the brake rigging off this loco, then ended up losing it. Big mistake on my behalf. And if you're wondering what was with that bit of metal on top of the front buggy, no, it's not to do with anything with the conductivity of from the rails to the locomotor. It's actually the spring that holds it down. So, here's the loco on the track. Very nice representation of Churchward's work. Now, let's just add a little power and see how 4377 does at slow speed. Let's go reverse first. You can hear the motor. And before I get any comments about maintenance, I have not ran it in a fair little while, so be fair. You can hear it. I admit that. Just give a quick run around the layout. And, ooh. Not the best of sounds, I admit, but I have heard worse from a loco that has not ran in a while. I have heard far worse. Alright. I think that's quite adequate. Well, quite a fair run around now. Now, just put the camera in the vise. Well, jig, I should say, but actually just a modelling vise. Now let's just hook it up to this train of college coaches with a British Rail Standard Mark 1 brake at the rear. And this is one of those times when I really wish I fitted point motors on my layout. But, oh well. Whoops. That is quite a close clearance. Just ran the loco to fetch the coaches. Now, I did buy this locomotive second-hand, I admit. And when you run it in reverse around a curve, it makes a distinctive noise. Oops, there we are. Yeah. I think it's because when I first got it, the plastic inlays of the wheels, here, were a bit loose and sticking out a bit, which meant I had to literally spend a few hours of the day I got it taking out the loco apart to get at the wheel set, the driving wheels anyway, and having to glue the plastic back in the wheels. Was not all that fun, because that noise indicates that I missed a spot and I don't know where. I figured I'll leave it alone because it kind of gives it that real chuff noise, I think. Now, just run the locomotive into the loop here. Well, I just use the hand of God to move the coaches. And before I get any comments about hand of God, please don't bellyache. It's just a term I learnt over the years. Okay. Loco's all ready. Just back her onto the trainer. And that is a nice clean coupling. Okay, let's get her rolling, shall we? Originally, these locomotives may have been intended for freight, but they turned out to be very well developed mixed traffic locos. And during their last years, a fair number of them were, whoops, hand over the lens, my bad, but as one of the things you forget sometimes is switching the points. Gonna have to reverse her out and reset them. But it shows these locos are good with quite tight curves. The hells of not having motors on your points, you gotta reach out. There we go. And though only 2 examples have survived, as well as a whole new Great Western Mogul being built out of a prairie tank, a fair number of the churchward mogul components were used to build a very well-known Great Western locomotive class, the Manners. The valve gear, its cylinders, and I think the driving wheels were used with new boiler and frames to build the Manners. Oops. And, well, the Manor class were very well liked. They were the largest on the Cambrian lines, which these happily ran along. So I'm guessing that while these handled mainly normal passenger trains as well as local freights and that on the Cambrian coast, the Manors were given the heavier tasks. And though I am pleased that examples of the Great Western Moguls have survived today, and that the West Somerset Railway, I think it is, literally built a new one out of a large prairie, it's quite interesting to think that the whole standardization of Great Western, basically giving them that family look, started off with Mr. George Jackson Churchward and his humble mogul. Okay, thank you all for watching. The next upcoming video or videos will probably be the pannier tank in the background there with maybe an auto-fitted train or a modified hull with a nice passenger load on the local club layout in my hometown, as my curves on the left hand side of my layout, those Hornby curves points, make it a bit too tight for my hull class, as I'll show in a little demonstration video very soon. Thank you very much for watching.